Parker, and I use they, them pronouns.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I use he, him pronouns.
And welcome to
the Graphic Novel Podcast. All right, each and every week, we bring you this show, which we discuss graphic novels, zines, and other comics that we think about, and we throw in a little bit of real life. Like what, Parker?
We talk about some queer issues. We talk about race issues, death, relationships.
Especially relationships.
So many relationships.
So many relationships. Every week we bring you a new episode, and if you like the show, we'd really love it if you went to Apple Podcasts and gave us 5 stars. Visit Spotify or YouTube, any place that you want that you listen to podcasts, and give us a good rating.
And make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, our podcast every week will show up with the newest episode right there waiting for you.
That's right. You can interact with us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on the Insta.
And make sure you share this podcast with your friends.
Definitely share it with your friends. And if you want to talk to us, you can actually leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/graphic novel podcast.
We might play your message on our next episode.
Exactly. We might do that. All right. So how's it going, Parker?
It's going. How are you?
Oh, it's going. I agree. It's going.
Going right out the window.
It's always going out the window when I open my mouth.
Oh, and you open your mouth so much.
I open my mouth too much.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Anyhow, we got a good show today. We've got a lot of good stuff. And a good book. Interesting discussion we're going to have about it. But let's start out with a little bit of... What we got?
A little bit of la, la, la.
Where is... Oh, I didn't know where my news thing was.
Did you swip it around?
Because it used to be on the right side, so I could see it.
You can't see it when it's on your left?
I didn't know where it was.
Don't you have them labeled?
I do, but I had to look at it very hard. All right, topping this week's news. First off, if you've listened or watched any of our Comics TV, my former Comics TV show.
Yeah, definitely not mine.
No.
I don't want to take any of your credit.
No credit for that fantastic show. Which, interesting. First, let me say that if you've watched any episodes on YouTube, there are additional episodes that I've uploaded. All of the episodes I have are online, but they're not all public yet. As soon as I get around to labeling them, they'll be available.
Once that big company in the sky stops hassling you.
Well, yeah, I had a problem with a big company, and that's a whole nother story. But and not a tech company either. Not
yet, anyway.
Not yet. But yeah, so if you're interested in checking out some old comics reviews, skimming through some of the shows, I saw a bunch of comics and things that are still around today, and people that are still around making comics, stuff that I had done back in the 90s. So if you want to check it out and see what a geek I looked like back then, check that out. Now, also, Scout Comics is releasing a new book later this year called Soulstream. It's by Seda Wolf. It's a superhero comic book with a female protagonist. And it was written and drawn by a 15-year-old high school student who also placed number 1 in her 7th grade science fair, beating over 700 other entrants. Seda is writing this female protagonist comic, which is pretty cool. And it's about Marie and Marcus, who they discover an alternate dimension known as the Mirror World, where their entire city has been destroyed and replaced by a volcanic wasteland. Marie is contacted by the mage goddess, who gives her a magical ocean bracelet that transforms Marie, allowing her to control water as the superhero Soulstream in order to help save it. Sounds very cool.
Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Also, so there was this, I believe he is where is it? He's a professor. He teaches in the UK, and talks about graphic novels. And he's like he says in this article that was on theconversation.com, Um, 5 eye-catching graphic novels that define the genre. At the same time, he said, it's kind of hard to pin it down to 5 that are supposed to be like the greatest of the genre. But he did. He picked 5. Number 1, Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons's Watchmen. This has been made into a movie. It's been made into a TV series, and it's just a great book. I remember reading it back in the '90s when it was pretty new. Another book we're going to be doing next week from Art Spiegelman. It's Mouse. Mouse is quite amazing. This is going to end up being
You finished that one just this week, right?
Yeah, I just finished book 2.
And had you read that before?
I think I read it back in the '90s. I think my friend Gil had it and gave it to me. I wasn't actually. I'm sorry. It must have been the early '90s because I remember seeing it. I'm sure I didn't read it during our show, but I remember. I'm pretty sure Gil had it, and maybe he had it before it was put together because some of this is copyright like the '80s. So maybe he worked on it earlier than. I don't know if it all came out as one book or what. Ghost World from 1997 from Daniel Klaus. I'm pretty sure I didn't read this, but I do remember seeing the movie, which was interesting. Jimmy Corrigan, The Smartest Kid on Earth from 2000, Chris Ware's book. I've got one of these books. The art is it's like this great old, like, I don't know, 30s style, 1930s, since it's almost the 2030s now.
Oh, yeah, now you have to differentiate between them.
It's 1930s style. It wasn't my favorite thing. It was kind of hard to read, and maybe he chose it because of just the style. It's visually and formally more radical than other books on his list. But the last one, the only female on the list, is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel from 2006. Self-consciously literary coming-of-age novel that pays homage to James Joyce, Marcel Proust, and Oscar Wilde, among others. So interesting choices here that this professor David Bronner from the University of Reading believes are books that define the genre that we talk about every single week. And last here in the news department.
Do you feel like when you read that list, I mean, do you know all the names that are on there?
I think I knew every one of them. Yep.
Okay. So do you feel like they were like, well, we better find a woman to put on that list? I mean, Alison Bechdel's amazing. I'm not saying it differently, but I feel like this guy was like found his top 5 favorites and like, why don't you find a woman to throw in there too?
Yeah, maybe he. I mean, from like Mouse, obviously, it's the type of book that it was defining. It came out in 1991, and it like was threw everything out the window. Completely different than anything else. It was a historical narrative about the Holocaust, and the art is different. The Watchmen.
But they're not talking about.
He's talking about
life-changing books.
No, but he's talking about the genre itself.
Okay,
and you might be right. I don't know what other book. I mean, Fun Home.
I don't know.
Fun Home was a bestseller.
I'm not that person.
It was a musical or a play or something.
Oh, Alison Bechdel deserves to be on the list, no doubt.
For this book, it doesn't just.
I just find it hard to believe that there was only one woman.
I understand what you're saying.
List.
I'm just wondering who else. He's talking about original titles too. None of these are Batman or Superman or anything. So these are all original ones too.
Yeah, that's not hard. That's not hard to find.
But is there another woman? I mean, maybe we haven't come across that yet in what we've been reading. There's some newer ones that are really good, but they're new. So is it, maybe it's not time for them to be on that list yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying though?
I get what you're saying. I just disagree.
Okay. You're always welcome to disagree.
I tend to disagree with
you. You do. That's okay. And last things, new Finger Guns. Finger Guns book is coming out. I forgot who releases it. Shoot.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this one.
Yes, let me find it here. Finger Guns, number 1. So Finger Guns I saw that they were releasing books 2 and 3 coming out in June and July. Number 2 and 3 are coming out. So they had Finger Guns 1 for free that you could check out on. You could download it and read the PDF. So I downloaded it, and I had seen it before, and I had seen people online talking about it, and I'm like, Finger Guns, guns. It sounds, you know what I mean. It had that sound to it that I didn't think I wanted to read it. I know people had said that it was really good, and I'm like, yeah, but and Finger Guns is by Justin Richards, Val Halvorson, Halvorson, yep, Rebecca Nolte, and Taylor Esposito, and it's from Vault Comics, and I read that first issue and I loved it. It was it's a great story about these kids.
I love it when you're not sure if you're going to like a book
Yeah.
and then you love it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just okay. It's like,
No.
no, this was an amazing book.
Well, yeah, because you think of Finger Guns, and you know what Finger Guns are. Everybody does that. So this kid,
Yeah, that's bi culture.
exactly. So this 13-year-old, he's doing these finger gun thing, and he realizes that he can make people's moods change. If he uses a 2-finger, he can make them angry. And he bumps into this girl. She's like, "Oh, cool! You found out you can do it too." She uses 1 finger, and she can make somebody angry, happy. So that's the premise of it.
Can she make them like ecstatic if they're like neutral? They're just fine, and then she does the 1-finger gun. They're like,
well, they test it on each other, so because they want to know how what effect it has on. So it's it's interesting.
Very scientific of them.
It was doing a self-test, but but I really liked it. Finger Guns from Vault Comics. Check it out. The issues 2 and 3 are coming out early June and July. So that'll be very cool. And I think that's all the news and a quick review there. But I did like it. The story was really good. So check that out.
The art of the story. I mean, we know the story was good.
The art was really good too. I liked it.
Cool beans.
Yeah. All right. Want to get to
the main event.
The meat and potatoes of today's
meat
episode.
And potatoes.
Yes.
We don't eat that much meat and potatoes.
No, we don't. And right now, I'm not going to be eating much of anything.
You want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about it.
You are going to be eating.
I will be eating, yes.
Just not any of your favorite things.
No, nothing with spice or coffee or hot sauce or anything else. All right, what's today's book?
Would you like to cry about it?
Yeah, I'll cry later when you spank me.
What the hell?
Just tell what the book is today.
I just
don't know what to say.
I don't know even how to respond to that one. All right, so this week we read Check Please, book number 1, Hockey. How many books did you say? 3?
I think they're up to 3. I don't know if 3 is out. I believe 2 is out. 2 just came out. 3 probably doesn't come out till next year.
Well, this didn't come out. This was in 2014 that this came out, or 2015.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it was a webcomic. So it probably took a while to build up enough to get to that point.
Right. Anyway, so I better get back to my page here. I'm syringe shopping.
You got it?
It's here. Eric Biddle may be a former junior figure skating champion, vlogger extraordinaire, and very talented amateur patissier, but being a freshman on the Samuel University hockey team is a whole new challenge. It's nothing like co-ed club hockey back in Georgia. First of all, there's checking, anything that hinders a player with possession of the puck, ranging from a stick check all the way to a physical sweep. And then there is Jack, his very attractive but moody captain. A collection of the first half, freshman and sophomore year, all the mega popular webcomic series of the same name, Check Please, Hockey, is the first book of a hilarious and stirring 2-volume coming-of-age, 2-volume coming-of-age story in Hockey Bros. Wow, my eyes just aren't fucking... Story about hockey, bros, and trying to find yourself during the best 4 years of your life.
All right, now...
this book includes updated art and...
Yep.
Oh, wait. Is this? Yeah. Oh, curated selection of Biddy's beloved tweets.
Yeah, tweets and some additional stories in the back too.
Yes, those were interesting.
So the book is by Ngozi Ukazu, who I hope I am pronouncing correctly. She's a New York Times bestselling author and the creator of Check Please, an online graphic novel whose printing campaign remains the most funded webcomics Kickstarter ever.
Very cool.
She graduated from Yale University in 2013 with a degree in computing and the arts, and received a master's in sequential art in 2015 from the Savannah College of Art and Design. So,
Savannah, so she's from Georgia. Well, not from Georgia, but
well, we're assuming it's
living in Georgia.
Savannah. I don't know, but she's from Houston.
It said Savannah, Georgia, right?
No, it just says Savannah.
Oh, okay.
So that could be anywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
I just assumed her parents are Nigerian immigrants, and she grew up in Houston. So it's a great combination of things. Where hockey is not the most prevalent sport either, but when she went to school, when she went to college, probably when she went to Yale, is when she realized that she liked hockey and she wanted to do something about it.
I thought that she said in the intro here that she didn't really know anything about hockey.
No, she didn't.
She became a super fan when she started researching for the book, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, but she okay, yeah, but she must have had some interest in it. I mean, why pick hockey of all sports?
I don't know. Maybe she had a friend who played hockey.
She's won a lot of honors. In 2017, NPR named it 100 favorite comics and graphic novels. She's won Best of Austin. She was a nominee for Harvey Awards in 2018. And in 2019, she was a winner for Harvey Awards, Digital Book of the Year in 2019. She also won an Ignatz for the Outstanding Comic. So her peers and the industry are looking at it as a great book, and
I always love to see a woman of color too.
Yeah,
gracing those stats.
So let me just pull a couple on her website. She's got a few things. Couple of reviews that say one of them, it says she blends a series of tropes, coming of age, coming out, and outsider find acceptance into one coherent, amusing tale, which she does.
Yeah.
And the book is good, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like the art too.
The art, yes.
One of the things
a little manga-ish.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's full color. We didn't talk about that. Full color.
The big eyes and stuff. That's the manga.
Yeah. It's a big book too.
It is. It was a web comic, and it looks it's good. Her art style is really good.
Yeah, I really like the way she drew Biddy too.
Mm-hmm.
Biddle is his last name, and his hockey nickname is
Biddy, because he's the shortest kid on the team.
No, that's not it though.
Oh,
that's not it though. And at the end there, they tell you how to get your own hockey name.
Oh, that's right.
And it's taking your first or your last name.
That's right.
And then adding. Let's find it.
Okay. My name is Mike Rizzo, and my one boss at a sporting goods store used to call me Rizzy.
There you go. That's your hockey name.
Exactly.
That's your hockey name.
My name was Rizzo.
This is Biddle to Biddy.
He changed my last name by one letter.
See, I thought that too the whole time. They talked about that his name was Biddy, and I assumed it's because he's this little guy. Because you see, he's short. He used to be a figure skater.
Oh yeah.
And
that's right.
but even on the cover though, you see like once you put all the hockey pads and stuff on that, certainly he doesn't get much taller. He gets a couple, but we've seen that in hockey too, where you these guys you see them without all their pads on, and they're like these tiny. Yeah. Sometimes these tiny people,
these goalies especially, because they have to be very limber, so they're not huge, big, strong guys.
Yeah,
and they take up all these huge pads, and it's like, whoa, you're a lot smaller without all the pads on.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
But
here we go.
Yeah,
okay, it tells me. Okay, take the syllable from your last or first name and add one of the following: I-E, Z-Y, Y, E-R, S-Y, or S.
Yeah, so he made mine Rizzy, which he might have done it with a Y. I don't know, but it could have been Rizzy. But and he had nicknames for everybody. Yeah, did he though? I think he did. But I mean, it's a sporting goods store, and he was into that. I think he coached and stuff too. So
that's like a thing then.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I like that it's really a thing, and I think
and
she put a lot of effort into.
Well, she did. She
really putting herself into
Yes.
the sport as much as she could, I guess, without being on a team or
Well,
anything.
it's like doing research for anything. Anytime I do research for a history book, you dig into it and you find out everything you can about a subject. And she did. She probably watched a lot of hockey. She learned what all the nicknames of things were, and all the different types of plays, and like you said, all the different kinds of checks and everything like that.
Right.
And she draws. They look like hockey players, and she puts a lot of emotion into the players and into their stories. But overall, it's a fun, light kind of a story. But the background to it all is that Biddy he's a baker. He likes to bake, and he's also gay. And do you know that from the beginning, or do you kind of assume it? I think you learn it earlier, but it's not. I mean, you do learn that he's gay, and he's got a crush on one of the other teammates. I mean, and that's
I don't remember how soon. It was early on, though. Well, you know what? Right in the
yeah.
I think that he maybe talks about it when he talks about starting at Samwell, about it being LGBTQ friendly.
Well, and that's the thing. This make believe college in Massachusetts is like supposed to be one of the most LGBT friendly schools. If you do a search for it online, you find like all these wikis, like Samwell's a real university, and they talk about how LGBT friendly it is and all these things. So I decided to do a search for actual colleges that were LGBT friendly to see what it's like. The top 50 LGBT schools in the country, and the first few kind of surprised me. University of Pennsylvania was number one with a score of 100 out of 100. Ohio State, number two. To me, that's I don't know how that one. They got a 99.13.
People from the South coming up to go to Ohio because Ohio's not too not too liberal, but also not too. Although in the college town it tends to be more. I know, but if you're from the down south and you're trying to get away from that, but still kind of have that same culture, you know what I mean? Like it would be a big culture. I mean, it's a big shock no matter what when you go away to college, but that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like Ohio State, it says that they. When it comes to institutional support, housing, health, and campus safety, they're committed to ensuring all students thrive academically, mentally, and socially. Then 3, you got UCLA, another one in St. Louis, and it just keeps going down. The first one from Washington is actually UW, which ranks in at number 12, 13. Nope, number 11 is University of Oregon. Where the heck did UW go? I saw there it is, number 14 actually, with a 90.13. Says it's a proud supporter of its LGBTQ students and staff. The Q Center is equipped with talented staff of undergrads and graduate students who are committed to the well-being of UW's queer and trans population. So, and Seattle's an interesting city. It's very liberal, but there's still a lot of homophobia. You hear about it in the gayest neighborhood too, in Capitol Hill. You hear about people getting beat up or shot and stuff. It's I don't.
Well, there's not like some gate that you must be queer to enter here.
Exactly, but some people must go there specifically looking for trouble. I mean, what other reason would there be?
Yeah.
Or there.
Capitol Hill is also an extremely racist place to be.
Oh, it's racist too.
Yeah. Yes, very.
All right. So a question we had is we really liked the book. You liked it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I liked it a lot.
I mean, I like the story. I'd like to read subsequent issues, but I looked online and I couldn't really find any negative comments from even LGBTQ sites about the author apparently not being queer. I don't see anything about her being queer, and I don't see any negativity about her writing about queer characters.
Right.
So What's your opinion on
I
it?
don't know that. I mean, I don't feel like she did any
No?
harm. I don't see any tropes or anything that she pulled out, and wasn't a ton of no stereotyping and stuff. It was
Well,
just part of who he was, and I don't think that she. I when I think about it, I feel like the way that he came out to people wasn't necessarily the way that
right.
it happens in real life, but it's
Right.
the way that you hope it would happen.
Well,
And so I feel
yeah,
like I mean it doesn't need to show that people can be shitty.
you're
You know,
right.
you're in
You're
a
right.
fantasy land. You're at the best LGBT school ever. Like it should be easy to come out to people. It shouldn't be so hard. That's not a reality for a lot of people, but for some people it is. For some people they get acceptance and love no matter what. And I
Yeah.
think we're trying to work toward a reality or toward this reality where you can come out to your fellow teammates on a hockey team in college and they'll be like, all right, I guess I'll look for guys to hook you up with on late night or whatever the night is called, where they try to get all the
Right.
virgins laid, which is kind of shitty, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so but that was one of the things. They're like, oh, we're looking for girls to hook you up with, and then he comes out to them and they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll have to scrap that list.
Right.
We'll find some guys instead, which is what you would hope.
I guess the question I have though is, okay, yes, it's a fairy tale. It's like Cinderella, where you can pretend that you're a fairy princess, um, and just get away. And I do like
Fairy princess. I don't think
that's what Cinderella is, isn't she? Pretend she is.
She has a fairy godmother. Are you
She's just a princess.
combining the words?
Maybe I am.
She's a Disney princess.
But anyhow, my point is that you could. It's good to sometimes just to read something and enjoy it and not have to think about it. I think that. I guess this is. I'm guessing that she just wanted to create something that was fun. She didn't want to get into trying to have to define, having these people to worry about, who they're coming out to, or, deal with, the hazing, the serious hazing that goes on in a lot of fraternities and things like that. And
yeah, that didn't happen. I mean, they called it Hazapalooza, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
What did they do?
I think they drank, didn't they?
They drank and they left him out cold or something. I can't remember what it was. He said he was cold, and so he brought sweaters for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Things that would not happen in a normal fraternity. She kind of tried to make everything the way you would hope that life would really be. Like, you're not tied up and naked and, getting prodded from behind by you don't know what, just in order to, to make it into some fraternity or whatever.
So here it is, chapter 13. Sorry, go ahead.
But I guess, if you're looking for just a good, entertaining, don't worry about, it's just, fun, then this is a good book. If you were reading it and you're like, all right, this isn't how most people come out, especially in sports teams, especially in professional sports teams, and college is one step away. I mean, the Zimmerman, what's his first name? Jack Zimmerman. His father's a professional hockey player. He won the Stanley Cup. So Jack is supposed to follow in his footsteps.
Mhm.
And so that's why he's brooding. In fact, this isn't his first school. This is his second school.
Yeah.
So he changed schools, and when he came to this small little queer school, nobody could understand why. It's like, what are you doing going to that school? His draft prospects went down and all kinds of things. But the kids at the school were like, holy cow, we got Jack Zimmerman here to play with. So it was a big deal for them. And
it sounds like the teammates are the ones that elect the captain, which is, I don't know if that's a typical thing in college sports, is it?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. But it seems like they elect, and that year, his senior year, the team unanimously elects him.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important to recognize too. It's not just that, he's a star, that they have on the team. It's that he has the leadership ability and the ability to bring the team together and work on stuff. I mean, at one point he takes Biddy and at 4:00 in the morning onto the ice and helps him work on his fear of being checked, because when he was playing in high school, it was no checking. So he's never checked before, and he's terrified of it.
And he's a great skater. So he's got that. So Zimmerman's trying to help him put those two things together. So you got great skating, learn how to take the check, and be a great hockey player too, And and so, I mean, they show that the teammates are all really good to each other. They all seem to stick by each other and help each other. They're not just there because they're teammates, that they're just like hanging out and sticking with each other. They're there like friends.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. And, I guess from that standpoint, if you don't think about how life really is most times, that this is a great book in that aspect.
Well, but I mean, like I said, queer people need positive.
Yeah, you're right.
Things to look at.
You're right.
We need to know that it's not all shit.
Yeah.
So many times when you hear about queer stories, we're talking about, trans women of color being the most susceptible to fucking getting murdered on the street.
Exactly.
That's while it's important to know, it's important to share that information and important to speak that information. Sometimes you just want to fucking read about good, wholesome stuff.
No, you're right.
This is it.
I agree. You're right. And coming out is not easy. It's not easy. For most people, I'm sure it's like a gut-wrenching thing to come out to your family or friends or coworkers or anything. And when you're trans and you decide to transition while you're like going to school or at a job or something, it's got to be very difficult.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in school right now going through transition.
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling pretty lucky that I can start my transition when I am supposed to be locked up I am not locked up, but when I'm home, I don't have to face anybody daily.
I let you out 1 hour a day.
It's not funny. That's not funny. So I can shield myself from the dangers in that way, and also I can wear a mask. So when I do go out, I have a mask on my face, so my patchy facial hair isn't going to show and clue anybody in that I'm transitioning in any way. So
no, you're right.
I'm extremely privileged in that way, because a lot of my trans siblings don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to have the like coming out to your teammates as easy and just like nonchalant as it was in this book is probably it's refreshing, and it's probably the way everybody wishes it could.
Well, because I think all queer people know it's not easy. We all know it's not easy. We all have, struggled to tell our family, to tell our friends, even people we were close to. I mean, my brother came out to me a long time before I came out to him, knowing full well that he was going to be supportive and I wasn't going to lose anything. And I mean, I knew that it wasn't going to be an issue,
right,
but I was still terrified to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so we all know that the risk that's involved. So we don't need to see it.
Right.
You're
right.
We don't need to see it in everything that we read about.
Yeah. Which makes this even more entertaining that way, when it's just
something. Exactly. It's just part of him. Like,
exactly.
It's not, the whole book was not focused on the fact that he was gay.
Oh, he's
all.
a baker too. He bakes throughout the whole book.
He talks about the different pies that he's baking. And that's like his thing. When there's a party going on, he's baked for it.
Exactly.
If there, the kitchen is a disaster because a bunch of frat boys live there and they don't really take care of the house. It sounds like there's holes in the doors.
They don't use the stove,
and they don't use the stove or the kitchen. And he opens up the cupboard at one point, and it's just all these sriracha hot sauce bottles. It's like, I can see I'm gonna need to hit the grocery store.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the closet story part 1 is chapter 13. That's the first time that he talks about being gay. So we, I think, knew it because from reading stuff, reviews and stuff. So we knew before chapter 13, but I think the first time, just skimming over it real quick, the first time that he really comes out about it is chapter 13. So it's not a huge part of the story.
And this, so I saw one review online that somebody on Amazon gave it a 1 star because they're like, I bought this book for my kid, and then I started.
Don't tell me.
And I started reading it. No, it's not nothing about it. And it's like, and there's the F bombs and there's alcohol. And
Yeah.
I tossed this book. And
Oh,
I'm like,
jeez.
we let our 10-year-old read it and they loved it. Never
Yeah.
brought up any of that stuff.
Guess whose kid is going to be having more problems? The kid whose parents don't talk to them about alcohol and drugs and stuff.
Yeah, but they didn't. Our child didn't even bring that stuff up. They were like, I like the book. I want to. In fact, I think they read it twice. And
I think they may have read it 3 times.
Really, yeah. They liked it.
They liked it.
Yeah, so
it does have some parts that, I mean, they talk about, the Leia-palooza or whatever it's called. Oh, Haze-a-palooza is what that one's called. But there is something where they're trying to hook everybody up with each other.
Yeah.
But it's not graphic in any way.
No, there's no nudity.
And we talked about
anything like that. Yeah, there's no nudity. There's no like graphics. There's no even discussion of gay sex or anything like that. I mean, it's just the
otherwise known as sex.
No, I'm specifying that for the 5 people that are listening.
If you call it gay sex, you're not our listening type. You can walk away.
Yeah. Yes.
We won't miss you.
There's no. I don't think there's any discussion of sex at all. It's not about that.
No, it says something about. I think it might have said something about a blowjob.
Oh, okay.
Something, but yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It was a comment about somebody being off in the other room.
Right. But so yeah, it's a really fun book to read, and like we mentioned at the beginning, there's a bunch of short stories in the back that other people did to like fill in some of the spots where maybe she didn't go into detail about a certain storyline. Like it just flowed.
That one? I didn't realize that it was.
Yeah, that's what they were.
Somebody else's.
Oh yeah, they're all different people.
It doesn't. Does it look like it?
Let me see. I thought they were.
Oh, Winter Screw. That's what it's called.
Oh,
the Winter Screw.
Yeah. Let me see. I thought those stories were other people, weren't they?
I don't think so.
No? Are you sure?
No.
Yeah, you can look at this. This is not her artwork. Completely different.
It doesn't say. Does it say somewhere that they're not hers though?
I thought it did. Hockey shit. Well, there's a swear word there.
There's some swearing, but it's not like, I don't know.
Okay, you know what? You might be right. Maybe they are hers. Maybe I'm thinking of a different book that did that.
There was a book that we reviewed early on that had something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
Did we even review it, or was it just a book we read?
I don't know. I mean, these all, they look a little different.
Oh no, we're God, what was it?
I don't know. But there's a whole ton. She created a Twitter account for Eric Biddle too, called OMG Check Please. And she prints like pages and pages of these tweets that he did, but apparently people used to tweet him like he was a real person. Just kind of crazy. But yeah, maybe the extra comics were hers. I may be confusing them with
other book.
With the other book, yeah. But yeah, so it's fun. It's a good book. Anything else to say about it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, but
no, I liked it a lot.
Check please. Who's it by? That's from First Second, I think.
I don't know.
Look in
here.
Look right here. It's from First Second. So
Oh yeah.
So they're doing. I knew that the second book is out. It's been sitting in my cart. I haven't ordered it. And the third. I swear there was a third book too. But anyhow, it's good stuff. And I think that's all we got for this week.
All right.
Well, until next time, my name is Mike.
And I'm Parker.
And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast. Forgot the music.
There we go.
There we go. All right. We'll see you soon.